Today, I'm going to guide you through building your very first automation. Whether you're a local business looking to save time on tedious manual tasks or an agency looking to offer automations as a service to SMBs, I'll walk you step by step through the tools and processes to streamline your business operations. By the end of this episode, you'll learn how to identify tedious tasks in your business to automate, go about mapping an automation, and deciding on what steps to automate. And finally, we're going to build an automation that can be used by a real business. I work with a team that collaborates with over 60,000 plus businesses. Hey everyone, Jacob Surs here, Vendasta's in-house automation expert. And I've done everything from cut back years of manual labor in sales team admin to creating content systems that generate blogs within seconds. Feel free to drop your questions, suggestions, or requests for specific automations in the comments below. I'm here to help. How do we identify the best areas of our workflows to automate? It's easier than you might think. Start by tracking how your team spends their time. Look for predictable patterns and frequently performed tasks. Once you know where the time is going, you can identify tasks that can be automated and start building those automations. Another way to spot automation opportunities is by looking for recurring themes in your work. Are you constantly copying and pasting data between different applications? Do you send similar emails or messages regularly? These are prime examples of tasks that can be automated. Don't try to automate everything at once. Prioritize the tasks that will save the most time or have the biggest impact on accuracy and efficiency. Now that we've covered why and what to automate, let's move on to mapping out your automation. Grab a pen and paper or use a digital mind mapping tool to visualize the process. Break down the workflow into every single step, no matter how small, so you have a clear understanding of the tasks that need to be completed. For today's automation, I'm going to show you how to create a custom proposal for potential customers based on their requested services. We'll be putting ourselves in the shoes of a pest removal company. We'll take a website form fill, create a custom estimate, and draft an email to send back to that customer. The tools we'll be using today are Tally, a free form builder, Google Sheets, and Google Docs, two valuable tools in Google Workspace. And our automation software of choice, Zapier. Our Google Sheet will store all the relevant information needed to generate the client's quote. It includes a list of services offered, additional details about the services, and tax rates for each of the regions. This source of truth document is crucial because it allows us to pull the required information based on the customer's form submission. All right, let's dive in and start building our automation. As you can see, we've created our form for our customer to fill out with all the required information we want to gather. We'll be gathering relevant customer information along with the removal services they're requiring, asking if they want to extend their warranty, and then giving them an opportunity to apply some extra notes if they want. This form has been built on Tally, and then all of the information required from here will then be sent to Zapier later on in our automation. Additionally, our Google Sheet, as we can see, we've already populated with a number of fields, and this has all of the information that aligns with what's going to be sent from our Tally sheet. So from Tally, we can see the removal services. We have a drop-down list here, and these drop-downs are going to align with the services offered in our Google Sheet, along with once you select a service in Tally, it's going to allow them to select the appropriate frequency, and this frequency is also going to align in the Google Sheet, which is then going to give us the correct price once we go to calculate the price later on in the automation. So now let's hop over to Zapier and start building the automation. So for our trigger, we're going to want to select Tally and choose New Submission, Continue, select our account, and we're going to want to select our Tally form, Pest Removal Quote, and Continue. As you can see, I've already done a test one, so we have some information that's come through, which we're going to be able to use for our automation. Our next step is going to be to start doing our lookups to find the appropriate information in our pest removal document estimator and get it into our automation for creating the custom quote. So now that we've selected Google Sheets, we are going to want to do find spreadsheet row. We're going to want to select our account and then find the correct spreadsheet. Now that we have this, we're going to select the correct page, the lookup column, and then select the lookup value that we have received from our tally form. So this is going to be our service 1. So we are going to do our service 1. Lookup column. We're also going to do a supporting lookup column with the frequency, as some of the options are going to have a quarterly or just a once a year frequency. So this is going to ensure that we get the correct pricing as they have selected. So we're going to go here and we are going to go service 1 and select the frequency. So we'll test that step, make sure it pulls up the correct information. So as we can see, it has gone for the rodent control on a quarterly service when it's giving us a price of $175. And just to make sure that this is pulling correctly, we can go back to our Google Sheet and we can go rodent control on a quarterly service. It's going to cost $175. So we know that that's pulling correctly. What we can do super easily now, because we're going to have to do this for the potential of 4 services, we can simply just copy this automation step and then we can paste it below, and then we can do the same thing again. So service 1, rename, then we'll just rename this service 2 for all 3. And now that we have all of the 4 service lookups, we'll go back and we will just now correct the field that it's going to be looking up. So it's going to be pulling the appropriate value for that service. So service 2. And then service 2 frequency. And then we're going to want to make sure that we test every step as we're going through. So we're going to be able to use it in the next stage and have the correct information pulling through. And then again, just to confirm, this one's going to be termite inspection and control, frequency, one-time service. We go back, we check this out, termite inspection and control, one-time service, $2,000. And here we can see the price is going to be $2,000. So once again, service 3, and then we'll just go in here, service 3, addict and installation, and then reporting value, service 3, frequency, test step. And then we'll do it one more time so we can get the last service in here for wildlife removal. Then the frequency for the wildlife removal selection. Removal frequency, continue, test step. Awesome. So now that we've collected the price for all the services the customer selected, we're going to do a very similar step to what we've already done, but we're going to now do it for the tax rate for the region of the customer that they've selected, along with the warranty that the customer has selected. So we're just going to literally go right back into the Zapier and just add another step. It's going to, again, just be a Google Sheets row lookup. So we can even just do paste to replace again. So first what we're going to do is we will do the tax lookup. we will go to action. For this one, as mentioned, we have another page in the another tab in the Google Sheets that has the taxes that apply to each of the regions. So what we are going to do is now just select the page and go to regional tax rates, and the lookup column is going to be the region, and then lookup value will be what they have selected in their tally form that we received. So as we can see here, it has been Saskatchewan, so we'll just select Saskatchewan, and we can remove the supporting lookup column as there's only one lookup column. Continue, test step. And then we can see here, it's got that 11%. And we can see here that Saskatchewan, 11%, so we know that that's working properly. The last Google Sheet lookup step we're going to do is just getting the warranty that the customer has selected to ensure that we could charge the customer appropriately and that the custom estimate that we are providing them includes the correct warranty, so their price is accurate. So again, just add that Google Sheets lookup step. Once we're in here, we can go to actions. Yep. So as you can see, we put extended warranty. And we do not need a supporting lookup column. We'll continue, we'll test step. And then as we can see again, extended warranty with the appropriate price that our Google Sheet has for the services. For the next step, we're going to be utilizing a ChatGPT automation task to create a statement of work for the estimate to provide to the customer, informing them of the work that needs to be done based on the information they've provided us with. So within Zapier, we're just going to go to ChatGPT, and the event we are going to want to select is conversation. We are going to choose an account. And then from here, we are going to enter our user message. So for our example, write a statement of work for a job that needs to have the tasks in quotes completed. It must be no longer than 1 or 2 sentences and have the output begin with the services will include, then input the statement of work. So I will then find the services that they selected and place those in quotes underneath so it has access to all of that information. So service 1, service 2, service 3, and finally service 4. And then while we're in this step, just to make it a little bit easier, we're going to give the assistant some instructions. Just you're a helpful assistant that provides a statement of work based on the instructions I provide you with. And we're going to go ahead and just test this step out. Awesome. So we can see here that it has created it with the services will include rodent inspection, termite inspection, and control, attic installation inspection and removal, and wildlife removal. So very basic, very simple, but still informative statement of work for the customer that the ChatGPT is able to generate. So for our next step here, what we're going to do is calculate the cost of the services which have been requested by the customer. But the way we're doing this is by utilizing Code by Zapier. It's a very simple step to implement. I myself am not an avid coder, but I was able to do this. Simply what I did was I actually went to ChatGPT, told it what I needed, and it spat out the code, and I was able to simply just copy and paste it directly into the automation and the Code by Zapier step. And from there, was able to complete the entire step. All I have to do now is just input these fields, and it's able to then calculate the cost of the services. This is because some of the services are going to have a frequency that's more than once a year. So if it's quarterly frequency, we're going to be multiplying that cost by 4. Whereas if it's that one time a service a year, it's just going to be one-time cost. So we just want to ensure that we're going to be charging our customer appropriately. So I'm just going to go ahead and fill in the fields here. So it's going to be able to appropriately create that cost for the customer. So just fill these in based on what we've collected from the earlier steps in the automation. Frequency for 3. Now we just are doing cost for 3. Price, frequency, and cost for 4, and the frequency for 4. And again, very simple code here. It's just really just doing some basic math, multiplying the frequency by the cost, and then printing out the cost for the services requested to put into the quote later on for the customer. So we're just going to test out that code, make sure it works. And there we go. We can see that it has provided us with the cost for our services for each of them. The next step we're going to do is format those fields. So we're going to separate them. Right now they're all in one object and we need them as separate objects. So we're going to be able to input them into different fields once we get to our template for the estimate that we're going to send to the customer. So to do that, so next up we're going to use Zapier Formatter. So once we select Zapier Formatter, we're going to use the Utilities event. Now that we're in Utilities, we're going to just select line item to text. We're going to select the input that we received from our codes by Zapier. And then the separator is going to be the comma, just because that's the way that it was formatted when it came out of the code step. We'll continue from there, test the step. Now we can see that each of these fields are separate fields that we're going to be able to utilize individually and place where we need to within our template later. So now referring back to our form, we had the question of whether or not the customer was a returning customer or a new customer. This is because we do, for our example, have a $100 just first time inspection fee. So we're going to utilize a paths function within Zapier to ensure that we are applying that $100 initial inspection fee to new customers and ensuring that customers that have already received services from us aren't going to be charged that initial $100 in their quote. So simply for that, just select the paths function within Zapier, and we can just go here, custom rules. So for path A, we're going to go along with, these are existing customers. And the paths is just going to be, so only continue if the tally form and the question for returning customer, only continue if returning customer exactly matches yes. And then we'll test this step. For our example, it was a returning customer. So we can see that this was a success and has passed. And it would go down this path. And then to set up our other path for new customer, we are going to go for if that one says no. So new customer, and then for the pass condition, only continue here if it is a no in the field. So when we test this step, it should say not going to pass and go down this path. And as we can see here, it would not have continued down this path because there is no match. What we're going to do now is we are going to complete the yes returning customer path first. We're going to calculate their tax. And then from there, we're going to calculate the total cost of all of the services combined. So what we do is we go to the formatter step again, and we are going to choose numbers, continue. We are going to select the spreadsheet style formula. And then from here, we are going to just select the values we calculated from our earlier step, add them together. Now that we have all the values there added together, we're going to multiply it by the tax rate for the region. We can continue, and this is going to provide us with the cost of tax for the services requested. Next step is going to be simply just one more math step where we go to events, numbers for the event, and then transform. We are just going to do add or math, perform math operation, add, and then the inputs we're going to be adding are going to be the calculated cost of services we got from our utilities. And then we are also going to add the calculated tax that we just received. In there. So we will just put those two fields in there, continue, and then we will test that step. And now we can see that we have the total cost of the services requested from the customer. Now that we've calculated the total costs, we're going to automate the process of putting all the information into a Google Doc. For our sake, we've already created a Google Doc here. And so the most important thing about our Google Doc template is going to be creating these fields, which are called template variables. So what a template variable really is it's this unique value within a double braces on both sides. And what this does is it allows us to directly attribute a field in Zapier to that spot on the Google Doc. And as mentioned earlier, we are going to actually have two Google Doc templates. One's going to be for the returning customers, and one's going to be for the new customers. The only difference is that our new customers are going to have this extra field here under services where it's going to say initial inspection and have that initial $100 fee. Whereas when we look at the template for our returning customers, it's not going to have that field. To ensure that you're going to be able to access your template within Zapier, it's crucial that you submit the document that you've created as a template in your Google Docs. So to do that, you're just going to go to Google Docs. You're going to select Template Gallery, and then you're going to submit a template, select the document, and then from there, you're going to want to just find your file in Google Drive, select it, and then it's going to be added there. And then you're going to be able to access that document within your Zapier automation. So I've already done that for both of these cases. So we'll go ahead and we'll add the step here to actually fill out that Google Doc. We're going to go ahead and we will just select Google Docs, event. We will create a document from template, continue, select the Google Doc, and then we are going to select the document template. And then we are going to go Elite Pest Removal. And again, we're remembering that this is our existing customer. So we want to ensure that we go for the existing customer template. As we can see, all the template variables that are in the Google Doc here are also showing up here in our Zap. So we can ensure that they're accessible and we can fill them out based on the fields that we've already collected earlier in the automation. So I'm going to go ahead and now just fill out all of these fields. Fun fact and super easy way to get today's date within a Zap. You can use another template variable. So just double braces, Zap underscore meta underscore human underscore now, and then double braces. We can see right there, it threw in today's date, and that's just going to be a timestamp of right now. So best way to get that in there. Statement of work, we can go back to here on our ChatGPT step where we created that, find that, and then put this in. And then again, we're just going to go out and we're going to fill in the remaining information related to the services requested by the customer. When it comes to entering the totals for one, that's going to be provided from the step where we are calculating the services, and then we already split them up. So we're going to make sure that that gets put in there appropriately. And then we'll just continue on for the rest of them. And then now that we've entered all those units, we're now going to go into the warranty that the customer has selected. We're now going to put in the subtotal of all of the costs. We are going to put in the tax that we calculated. And we are going to enter the total of all the services requested by the customer. Additionally, we are going to enter any customer notes that they submitted within their initial form. And then additionally, a list of any of the pests that they have included from that initial form. And we will add a new document name of custom quote, and then just enter the name of the individual who submitted it. Awesome. So now we have created that. We will test the creation of that doc. So we can see that it has created the document. And to confirm that that doc has been created, we will find the link to the Google Doc and just confirm that it's been created. So we can see here that Google Doc has been created. It's got all of the information that we wanted entered. It's got the statement of work. It's got the services with the units, the unit price, the totals, subtotal, taxes, total cost, along with the customer notes and the actual pests that they mentioned within that form. It's going to be the exact same steps once we take a look at the new customer, except we're going to want to add one additional step. And that's going to be to just add that extra $100 to the total cost of that initial inspection fee. So all we have to do is copy over the steps from the existing customer side. So for our tax calculation, the only difference here is we're also going to add the extra $100 here. So continue test step, $418. And then our total cost, we are then again, copy this step. And then we are going to do the add it. Now that we're now going to add the costs for the new customer. So again, that's just going to be the total of all the services requested, the tax calculation we just calculated, and then again, just adding that extra $100 in there for that initial startup fee. Test step. So we now have the value that's going to be associated with that customer. Now we just copy over that Google Docs step from the other side, paste it on this side, and ensure that all the fields are filled out appropriately. The only field that we should have to change is going to be the taxes, but that can be simply found just by going underneath the fields, selecting taxes, selecting the new total, continue. We can test that step. It's created the Google Doc file, as we had mentioned on the other side. Now to create the Gmail draft reply, we're just going to select the Gmail app within Zapier. And the event we're going to want to choose is create draft. So we're going to hit continue, select our account, continue, and we're going to set up our action. So we can enter our information into the body, select our from name, enter who it's to, continue, choose your signature, and then simply all we have to do now that we have it for the existing customer, copy that step. Now that we did it on the existing customer side, all we have to do is paste it on the new customer side and change out the one field of the total cost, as this side, as mentioned before, is going to have that extra $100 charge for the initial inspection fee. And just like that, we're going to have a custom email draft in our Gmail. So we'll go, just ensure that's there. Go to Gmail, head over to our drafts. And as we can see by selecting our newest draft email, it's going to have our brand new draft email with all the information for that custom quote for the customer. All that needs to be done now is review that custom quote Google Doc, download it as a PDF, and attach it to your draft email and send it off to your customer. I hope you enjoyed this episode and got out a solid framework that you can use not just to build your first automation step by step, but to identify opportunities for streamlining processes and workflows within your business. I'm really looking forward to doing more of these videos for you, and I'd love you to drop comments below for any specific automation requests or challenges you're having so I can build the right content to help you. Don't forget to give this video a like, subscribe to the channel, and hit that notification bell to know when the next episode is out.